I have one question for Damien, which is you weren't even born when the 60s space race was going on. How did you decide on this for a subject? And for Ryan, you're playing this very recessive man who has a hard time expressing his feelings. And I wondered what you thought of Neil Armstrong that way. I was thinking he grew up, he was born in 1930. He would have been seeing maybe Gary Cooper movies his whole youth and life. And Gary Cooper's the strong but silent type. And I wonder if that was an influence you thought of.
I think, oh, thank you. I think for me personally, and certainly anyone of my generation, you know, we kind of grow up with the moon landing already having been a fact, you know, and we grow up with those sort of iconic images and pieces of archival footage, and it sort of makes it all seem sort of easy, you know, it's easy to take it for granted, I think, especially for people of my generation. So I think I just became more fascinated the more I learned about what actually went into it and trying to actually fathom the step-by-step process by which it was, this kind of fantastical idea was made into a reality, and then what the costs were of that process, because obviously they were enormous. So I think that's what kind of compelled me to want to tell this story.
Hello. In terms of references for Neil, I've never had more help in my life on a film than I did on this, whether it was Neil's sons or I had the opportunity to meet his late ex-wife, Janet Armstrong, who Claire plays in the film, or Neil's sister. We met at the farm that he was born in Wampakoneta. Childhood friends. NASA opened the doors to both of their facilities, the Neil Armstrong Space Museum, not to mention James Hansen's incredible book, which is 700 pages of meticulous research. It just was an overwhelming amount of help and resources. So those, I missed the Gary Cooper reference material, but I wish you'd have told me that a year ago. It's a little late now. But no, those were the main, resources for me. And Neil was a very, famously introspective, quiet, private, humble person. And so the challenge, I guess, was to try and honor that, but also create windows into, what our interpretation was of what he might be or have been experiencing emotionally at the time. And I had a lot of help with that as well, including working with great actors who helped to create context around that, with saying things that I, couldn't say as the character.